I know I'm gonna sound crazy saying this, but I genuinely don't want to work. I don't want to work at all. And I think me being honest and saying the truth will free me because I just don't want to work. I have nothing right now, I'll say, that I want to do as a career. I have nothing that really pulls me somewhere. I can promise you, all my life, I had 100 different things on my belt. I'm the oldest daughter, right? I've been working since like 13. I've been helping with bills and things like that since a young age. I've been a parentified child. I truly believe that I have just reached my I don't give a fuck era because I genuinely don't want to work. I don't want to work. I do not want to sit in the office. Nothing about 9 to 5. If it was something I loved or a career, I could see it. I could see myself being like, okay, I don't mind doing this. But there's nothing that is pulling me to that life. I've never wanted to live that life. I just did it out of survival. And now that I live at home, I'm 25. I'm unemployed right now at that. But I will never say I want to go get a job. I didn't even realize, but even
See, now, that was one of my first questions is how old is she? Because I could see, obviously, well, she looks young to me, but she said, I don't want to work. So she said, I've been working since 13. That's not a large gap from 13 to 25. So I had my first job at 13, so I could relate. It's not easy being in this economy, being in this world in general, being in a position where you don't know what you want to do. You're young. The world's rapidly changing. Technology's changing everything, and then you got so many distractions with social media. See, I didn't grow up on the computer. I grew up outside playing on the bikes. Going, you'd have to call like and ask for your friend. You know, you went through the mom. There were still house phones. At some point, at certain points, we didn't even have cell phones. So I think that what it sounds like right now is just like lack of motivation. She sounds a little lazy if you ask me. It's just like she's unemployed. She's back at her parents' house. It's just clear lack of motivation. It's like you, in order to achieve something or be successful in life, you have to work. And then she's trying to negate the main core that gets you anywhere in life is the work. You have to do the work. It's like people want to be able to enjoy the luxuries, but they don't want to do the work. So I think this is like it's a clear disconnect, with the younger generation.
when I became unemployed, I never went to go sign up for another job. I did Spark for a little bit. I've always done driving gigs because there's something about my freedom that I just crave and that I just want. Okay. So anytime I did have a job, I probably left within a few months. The last job I had was the only job I had for going on 2 years, but it's because I was forced into that because I ended up living alone at random. I did not know that was going to happen. So I've never been at a job for more than a few months. I always did like Instacart, Shipped, anything that could give me money, but I had freedom. And I think also as someone who experienced a lot of trauma growing up,
I'm sorry. What it sounds like is you're lazy to me. You're asking for freedom, but freedom comes from putting in the work. People just want to have everything in life just handed to them, and they don't think they have to do anything to get it. So I think like it's like, yeah, there's certain steps that you have to take. I get it that you don't want to work. You want to be able to have a fulfilling life doing something that you love to do. But like, take for example, I went to school for art degree, but around 2008 when I was coming out of like college, finishing up around that time, we had the housing crash. It was horrible time, and the things that were leisure like art, like it wasn't like a good opportunity. So I ended up jumping into sales. Unfortunately, it was like a time where there was nothing really good in the market. People were fighting to get jobs, you know what I'm saying? People were losing their homes, losing their businesses, and now you hear them complaining. It's like you look at the unemployment rate back then and now, it's like it was way worse back then. But for whatever reason, it's just a mentality they have. They don't want to work. Anytime you're faced with hardship, you crumble. It's just like she's like, I was unemployed and then I just rather do Instacart. We didn't have gig work back then. That wasn't even an option. It was like, dude, you better figure it out. Either you hustle, you're either getting it in the streets, which I wouldn't recommend, or you scrapping to find something out there just to make ends meet. So for her, I think maybe because she's sheltered, she can go back to her mom's. It was different. I didn't have that opportunity. It's like either you figure it out or you're homeless. So it's like, and I also think it's different for men. Like men, we don't have, I guess, the luxury of being saved a lot of times, unless you're one of the select few top of the top where women are just taking you in. And I don't even think that'll last too long. It's like you only get so much respect from not being a man or doing what a man's supposed to do. So it's sad to see. It's like a a washed generation that's that's soft, dude. Just don't want to go through anything, that think life is easy. It's just like, I think your brain is just warped the brain chemistry, seeing people vacation and travel and have luxury items and goods. Like, you believe that is just supposed to just come to you and fall in your lap. That's not a norm. And half of these people online, they're faking. They're not even as successful as that they like present to be. So it's like, I think we're letting social media and comparison kill our joy, instead of just realizing this is the situation. You may not have the greatest job, but you can always work hard enough to put yourself in a position where you're able to excel in life. Instead, you over here looking at social media and comparing yourself to somebody who's either had a leg up or advantage, or worked hard and was successful at doing it. Maybe it's mommy or daddy's money, nepotism. There's all types of things that may not correlate or you can associate to your life and your situation, but yet you want to live like everybody else and not understanding what they had to go through. So I think, I think happiness needs to come from within first. And, shout out to her. Hopefully she figures it out. She's 25. She's still young. Like, trust me, you got time to get it together, but you better get it together in your 20s, because it gets older. The older you get, the harder it gets, the more responsibilities and obligations you have, and you're gonna hit a point where it's just gonna be like, damn, where did I get all this responsibility? And then for you to focus on yourself, it's gonna be 10 times harder. So lock in, young woman.
Crave nothing but to live my life. What do I want my job to be? I want my job to be that I can just live my life, travel, and probably experience things. Because when you grow up and you experience so much trauma and darkness, I feel like your body craves peace, freedom, and life. And I think that's where I'm at. I have no idea what I'm doing in my life. I have no idea what's going on. Just every day, I'm just
See, and don't use your trauma as an excuse. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people that deal with trauma, but you have a choice. With that trauma, you could either turn it into something productive and get out there and work for the type of life you want. It's not given to you. People think it is so easy. I'm telling you, I had to bust my butt to get even where I'm at now, and I still got a long ways to go. But I'm not where I started, and that's all that matters, is I'm continuing to see progress as I go. And people don't want to take that step. They want to live in their comfort zone and don't realize comfort is just going to keep you stagnant. You're going to stay in the same position. You want to be comfortable and happy, but you do not realize, like, I think you need to find a mentor, somebody who's actually successful, because people don't really understand what it takes to be successful until you shadowed somebody who's really like, because I've been in sales for 16 years. And throughout that, I've seen so many different walks of life, different people from different countries, different ethnic backgrounds. Some of them didn't have anything and turned it into multi-million-dollar businesses, billion-dollar businesses sometimes. And when you hear these people's stories and you're able to see just a glimpse of their life, how they live, how they're humble, their financial habits, how they spend money, how they save money, it gives you some type of like broad understanding of how things function. It's not just you looking online. So it's like, you don't have to do that. You can go look at podcasts, read books, but I like strongly suggest she educate herself, or anybody that has this mindset. It's like, be careful what you consuming. Because I'm even reading the comments. Like, I read some of the comments. One of them says, same, I just want to lay my ass on the beach, sleep, eat, and poop. Like, okay, like, I'm not going to put her on blast, but like, that's insane. Like, what do you expect? We are grown adults. We are grown adults. And at some point, this mentality has to change. Everybody thinks because it's the current situation it in, it's like, nah, I'm going to tell you, life is 10% what happens to you, 80% how you respond to it. Things ain't worse than they ever been in life. So if you believe that, it's BS. It's not the worst it's ever been. We're more exposed to BS. We're more manipulated. We're more controlled than probably ever. There's more propaganda out there than ever. But are we in the worst possible predicament or situations we ever been in the US? Absolutely not. And for people to just keep pushing that narrative and not really getting out there and doing something about it, I honestly don't want to hear it. I don't sympathize for it, because again, There's people out there in countries that don't have the opportunities we have. And instead of here, we're sitting around complaining, wanting to vacation all the time because we're sitting here watching social media and shows that aren't conducive to a productive lifestyle. But let me know what you think in the comments. I think she's ridiculous. I don't care. Like I said, you wanna debate me? I've been through some hard times, and I'm telling you now, you can make it out of it. You just got to change your perspective when you can't change your environment. I'm out. Peace.